Yes, bitch, yes, with Tiffany, where conversation rules the nation.
Hello. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Yes, Bitch, Yes with Tiffany, where conversation rules the nation. But before we get started, allow me to introduce my very special guest, Puerto Rican roots and Chicago born model Jessica Milagros went from strutting the runway in a bathing suit to the front doors of the Big Brother house for season 21. Jessica was named brand ambassador for JCPenney Boutique Plus swimwear line and is passionate about fighting for size diversity for inclusion. You can also catch her on her very own podcast, Girl, Let's Agree to Disagree. Married for 7 years with a beautiful bonus daughter who is soon to be graduated from high school. She's a mom, a model, and a mood. It feels like we've known each other forever, and I cannot remember the first time we even met, but she's a beautiful and sweet friend of mine. Welcome, Jessica Milagros.
Girl, that was you make me sound so good.
You
Thank
are so
you. I
good.
love you.
Why do you think I wanted you here?
I was like, you were talking, I was like, yes, I have done that. And yeah, actually, yes, that's true.
You know,
We never like to brag about ourselves, or some don't, but I definitely don't. So it's nice to kind of hear it back, because sometimes you just feel like you don't do anything. Like I'm
it's
like, I haven't
true.
done anything.
It's true. We take our accomplishments and we are always looking for the next thing we have to do. But I also have to do this. Okay, that was nice, but I have to do this. And we don't get time to look back and appreciate where we've been, what we've done. And I think maybe we've been conditioned a little bit to just be so humble that we don't brag on ourselves. And I'm not saying that we should, but it is okay for someone else to brag on you and to remind you of the beautiful person you are, the accomplishments that you've achieved, where you've come from, where you are, and how people see you and how much there is to you, because sometimes we forget. And I'm here to let you know I'm boasting and bragging on all of my friends. I'm scrolling, I'm researching, I'm looking up everything. I'm like, yes, because my network is my net worth is my network. And so all of
Absolutely.
my friends are the shit. Do you understand? So I've got
Absolutely,
resumes
girl.
on all of you bitches.
I love it. I love it. Mic drop.
Yes. And I know that that's just only scratches the surface. That's just what I was able to research and find without calling and saying, "Tell me all about you." But it's okay because that's why you're here. That's why you're here. You're here to tell me all about you. But we,
Ah.
there's so much. I know we won't get to it all, but hi, Jess.
Hey, Vivi. Girl, I'm just first and foremost, thank you for having me. Second, I love you. I'm so for everything that you're doing right now. I've been one of your biggest supporters all the way from Chi-Town. And I'm so here for everything that you do. Every time I see you off screen, on screen, I'm obsessed. So I just wanted to say that.
I love you. You never cease to amaze me and surprise me. Um, you are so kind and just
Thank you.
this huge heart. And to you, your signs of sincerity, they may. I don't know how you see them. I see them as grandiose. They're huge to me because you don't ever have to think about me. And so when people who are in their own lives in a whole nother town with so many other things to think about can think about and consider me, I appreciate that so much. And
Oh,
we've done so many things in between before and after my birthday, but you coming to my birthday in DC, even though I know we were there to also celebrate Hannah, so it was like a 2-for-1 deal. I would have came too, but you found time to think about me. You bought me the most beautiful Coach earrings. I love them. I wear I'm so scared. I lose hoops. Hoops are my favorites. I got a pair sitting right here. I'm so scared to lose hoops because I have so many one pair of hoop earrings that I'm like, these are my ones when I'm real cute because they big and I love them. They big.
they are. They really
But
out there, aren't they? I was like, these look like Tiff earrings.
They are me. I want to get like they need hoops, but I think that I'm afraid of it too. Like I want an attachment on my hoop earrings so that if they come loose, they don't fall out. But then that's
Mm.
kind of dangerous because if you get caught on
Oh.
something, yeah, I don't want the big slit in my hole. Let me talk.
Yeah, we're just gonna go with that. I'm not gonna
Cheers.
repeat what you just said. No slits and holes. There you go.
No slits in our holes. No. Mm. So, in thinking about, let me introduce Yes Bitch Yes. Okay. Um, it was on my mind that I have so many things to talk about. And I can get with my friends and we talk about so many things that I'm like, oh, if people only knew, oh my God, if I could only say this. But I felt very caged in my support system with who would hear me talk about things outside of reality TV. And
Mhm.
so I'm like, I don't know. But one day, me and Big D were just like chatting, and he's like, no, you are on 10. You need to sit down in front of this computer. We need to get the camera rolling. We'll just figure it out, and you can see if it's something you want to do. And that was the pilot for Yes Bitch Yes. And since then, it's been like the episodes haven't dropped, but it's been on fire. So I started thinking about conversations I want to have where I'm not just expanding on Tiffany, the reality TV person, but
Mhm.
I'm going deeper and being more vulnerable with who Tiffany is as the person and how she got to be a reality TV person. And just like your bio and your background about, did you hear the horn? What is
I
going
was,
on? I,
I was gonna say my husband slammed the damn door. He came in and he slammed it so hard. I told him,
like
oh,
they're
it's
having
outside stuff.
a battle of the car alarms outside right now.
Oh, is it because it's Cinco de Mayo or is it just alarms?
Can you hear it? I hope you can't. If you can't, that's
I
great.
can't hear. I heard it in the beginning, but
Okay.
I didn't hear it now.
And usually we don't get stuff like that. I live in a predominantly white neighborhood. You know how to act. They like we no.
It's like it
Hey,
does
we
not
know how
happen.
to
This
act in
does
this
not.
neighborhood.
This does not happen in this neighborhood. What is going on?
But I thought about like the beautiful stories and my friends that I have that would be comfortable to come and have a conversation. So I'm going to put the ball in your court, Miss Jessica, and I'm going to ask you a question, and you
Absolutely.
choose how you want to answer it. And it's for me. I know my goal is to um, reveal myself as a human
Mhm.
and show that I have way more depth to me than the 3 months people may have seen me on TV or the last 2 years people may have seen me on TV, whatever. And then I found the best way for me to do that is to be vulnerable. And that's just me, though.
Mhm.
Nobody has to come in here and take their clothes off and say, look me deep in my skin.
Well, if you want, you just had to ask. All you had to do was say the thing.
Uh,
No.
and we would love to see it. And we would pay to see it. Um, So my question is, with everything that you've experienced through life, and only you know that, what can you share with us that makes you the most proud? And what can you share that has made you the most disappointed?
Ooh, ooh, that's a good one. And I've always prided myself in being an open book. I think that is what scares half of my family in
Mine
going into
too.
this
Mine too.
reality scene of
Yeah.
just like how much are you going to share, how much is this also telling my story, and I think that it definitely had coming out of some of reality like Big Brother, and I'm saying like Big Brother because it's like no other reality show There is just so much more that you are exposing yourself to versus a regular edited reality TV show. There's just so many more layers to it. And I feel like coming out of there, I felt very similar to you and why like wanting to be vulnerable. And in so many ways, I felt like coming out had really silenced me, silenced my thoughts, silenced what I was thinking. There were images about me or thoughts about me that I didn't see as true. There were that I had no that that I felt it was like an uphill battle to try to fight. I didn't have the energy to fight it. I didn't want to fight it. I felt so disconnected from both the reality and the reality TV world, knowing that they're not both the same things, right? But I was disconnected from both. So coming out of there was very hard. But one of the things that and when you said it, when you asked the question, the first thing that came to me was resilience. And I think, as we'll be very candid, as old, not old, but older women in this space. And when I'm saying that is, we all know that reality TV is not much for diversity in a lot of different ways. We're not just talking about, the black and the white of it. That's when people hear diversity, they think race and okay, this is it. No, we're talking about, as you mentioned, body diversity, which is something that I was very passionate about. One of the reasons why I went on the show. Age diversity, which is also a very big stigma. And a lot of people didn't understand. Me being a model, not wanting to tell my age, I got a lot of slack for that. And, I'm 42 years old, and I don't feel like a lot of people notice this. And of course, no, girl, of course not, because we don't look first of all, nobody that I know looks my age. That is my age.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's like you don't look your age, well, what kind of age am I supposed to look like? And this is, again, the stigma.
1942, where we don't have a moisturizer, and
right.
like we know what to do, and also the way you take care of yourself too has a lot to do with how you age. So
absolutely, it's one of those things that it's what I had to fight the past 4.5 years coming off the show. But I keep on saying the word resilience because that has been kind of the story of my life, right? When everything that you had said about me and about what my life looked like prior to being on this show is the reason why they chose me to be on this show, right? They were looking for someone who was who was about the body positive movement, about body diversity, who was very successful in their field of work. Prior to being on the show, I was a very successful model, and I say very was because I still do model. I have picked up many other things after that I wanted to pursue. But before that, yes, I've walked in New York Fashion Week. I've had my own brand of bathing suit line for plus size women. The first to ever be inside of a store where plus size women could go and shop for plus size bathing suits. I have been brand ambassadors of my whole bosom. I was the brand ambassador of a bra line, where I was all over the stores and, I was on TV. I've done commercials. I'm SAG-AFTRA. I've done quite a bit before I actually became Jessica from Big Brother, and before that, I was a marketing executive that decided to leave at a whole grown ass age of 30 to pursue a modeling career, which in this case is like almost non-existent, because who leaves a job and says, I'm going to be a full-time model at 30? At 30 years old, on top of that, people think, okay, I'm going to be 18, 19. By the time you're 23, 24, people think the idea that you're washed up, and you're just like, no, I think that
Isn't
resilience
that
comes
crazy?
to mind. It is.
It's so
When
crazy.
you think about it. And I
Life
think
is
that
just
was one
beginning.
of, and I see it with you in this new journey that you're in too, in the age that we're in. that we've learned that there's never a late time for anything. You go and you do it. You feel it, you do it. You like, I'm in my 40s. I've had so many past lives. And I know that it's not ending there. That, in the next few years, I might want to do something completely different, and I'll go ahead and do it too. And it doesn't mean that I'm lesser than or that I couldn't do one. It's because a chapter had ended, another one's about to open. Like, this idea of like being in the same space for 30 years and retiring, like, it doesn't exist anymore. It's quite honestly something of the past.
Yeah.
And I
It's
think that,
archaic. It's an archaic
yes,
mindset. Yeah.
very much so. But I know that there's so many people that are so scared to take that leap of like, this is the only thing I know. How do I move forward? And
Yeah.
how do I take that leap? And that's what I've done. It's been a natural progression, a scary one, but each and every time I have leaped and I've done something insanely scary, because I left my modeling career to go on reality TV,
Yeah.
and then right after that, the pandemic hit.
Oh my
And
God.
then
Yeah.
I had to learn to be a content creator. And then,
Oh,
it was
shit.
just like all of this weirdness. And I said the whole time, I'm just thinking, well, it's just, that's just how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to work with it. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I can't say like if I've regretted anything other than being on the season that I was on, but
Yeah. Uh-oh.
but I
Uh-oh.
didn't but I didn't have much of a choice with
Yeah.
that. Life gives you lemons. You try to make lemonade. I put some
Mm-hmm.
vodka in it. Got
Yep.
got a little tipsy. Forgot the whole damn season, and here we are.
I love it. You know, I love how you shared your ability and desire to take a chance on yourself, to risk it all on you. Like you said, who leaves a secure foundation, a great paying career, or at least a career that has a longevity marketing, to say, you know what, I am going to invest in me and take a chance on myself and say that I have what it takes to make it. Instead of making this company a fortune, I'm going to use what I have. I'm going to use me because they're using me. I'm going to use me, and then each time excelling further and taking another chance and going in a different arena. And I love that about being a human. And I try to tell that to my son. Like, there's one thing that a human can do that no other species can do, besides have to get married and sign papers, but and pay taxes. But it is the ability to make a choice to become something different. My cat can never be like, I'm just tired of this being a cat thing. I'm going to be a dog. I'm about to move to LA and be a dog. I bark now. I piss on fire hydrants. That's the life I want to live. He will always encompass the characteristics of a cat. I can decide tomorrow I want to be a basketball player. It doesn't mean I'm going to be a great one. Doesn't mean I'm going to make it. I'm going to be good. But I can go and train, practice, get a coach. I can do all the things that I can do to try to help me be successful enough to become a basketball player. I can decide I want to sing. I can say I'm going to be an astrophysicist tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And I can go to school and become that. And then that can be my path. So as humans, we have the ability to make a choice and choose tomorrow what you want to do. Everybody may not have the means and everybody may not have the resources or the wherewithal to know how, but that is something that we are capable of doing, is deciding what we want to do. I can be in marketing today and I can be a model tomorrow. I can be a model today and I can be on TV tomorrow. I can be on TV tomorrow and I can live in Italy tomorrow. So whatever. And I love that. I love that that has been your journey. Your resilience has been your story. And that is exactly why we are sitting here today.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, everything that you said. I think that the only people that can limit us are ourselves.
Mhm.
I've definitely felt that more than anything these past 4 years coming out of the reality scene, just because I feel like in one way I've let people that I don't know, and people that have had a lot to say about me shape the way I thought about myself. And it took me some time. But nevertheless, like, I think that if you have that drive, that ambition, that want, the passion to be able to uh, you know, to just recreate yourself, that you have everything in your power to do so, and the only thing that limits you is your own mind, and your own passion, because even with talent, and we've seen some people with no talent. Like, I mean, but they can be the best people in this world because they have the determination.
Yeah.
They have more drive than some people with the most talent that are doing nothing because they don't have the drive to do it, or they're getting in their way in some way, shape, or form. So
Determination is the key. Like, if you lack determination, you're probably not going to get there because if you are nothing at all, you have to be determined.
absolutely. You have to, yeah, definitely. You have to be determined. And again, when I say just resilient, it's that because there are a lot of things, a lot of people that you will literally get knocked down. People will try to knock you down, whether it's
Hmm.
people, it's circumstances beyond what you would think is your control, maybe your own critical self thinking. You will get in your way, and the idea is to do it anyway, and to not let that consume you, um, and to be afraid to do it, because the people who are not in your corner, the people who are telling you you can't, are the people who've either wanted to do it themselves and couldn't do it, or have absolutely, no belief that anybody
Yeah, can do it.
can do it,
Hmm.
you know?
I want to ask you, you said something about these last 4 years having shaped a part of the way you have felt about yourself, like allowing people, whether that's fans or social media or even support systems. Um, can you share, because this isn't a conversation that we openly have. Sometimes we'll get online and we'll see someone say something like, you don't know what I have to deal with, or people can be cruel. I've had people say these things. I've got a few of my friends who I'll see randomly tweet, like, people who consider themselves fans or supporters or whatever, they can be so mean. Um, what are some of the downsides, or what are some things that you've experienced that have caused you to have this outlook on looking at yourself differently, whether it's been a negative or a positive?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a loaded question, right? Because I think before I said I'm very much of an open book, and I've always been much of an open book. And and although I've always tackled very challenging things, I feel like being on reality TV was such a different monster, something that I was not prepared to receive
Mm-hmm.
afterward. Now, um I'm telling you this in the sense that I've conquered a lot of things in my past, it not my past life, but in previous years. The idea of me just being a plus size model in the time that I came to be a plus size model was really a revolution back then. It
Mm-hmm.
was, it was unheard of. Nobody was understanding the idea of what a plus size model was. They would just say you're fat, or like, this doesn't make sense. What do you mean you're a model? Like,
Yeah.
you're too big to be a model. There were all of these stigmas. Coming onto the show, I was already in a good space, already, making a good amount of money. I had campaigns under my belt, a good following online. And I would always get the occasional, troll or two talking about, how fat I was, or how I didn't deserve to be in the space, or, how I needed to lose weight, all of these things, I think that coming on to a show like Big Brother, my whole goal was to be that representation that people didn't see, because I didn't see that when I was growing up. I didn't see big girls on the screen.
Yep.
And lo and behold, I was the first plus size model on the show, the first plus identifiable and out and proud plus size person on the show. So that came with a whole other group of people. But not only that, but it was the way I could identify with the people on the show. I was the biggest person on the show, on my cast. They were dressing me up in men's clothing for competitions, because they couldn't find anything in my size that matched with the girls. Like, it was a whole slew of things that kind of got into my head when I'm looking at it's me at a big old size 18, which, by the way, is nation average. Is 16 to 18 is nation's average. But I was an 18, and the next person underneath me was a size 4. And that's, and nothing, and again, nothing wrong with them being a 4, or like whatever your size. But the thing is again, right, diversity. There was no diversity in this aspect. There was nothing for me to really be able to connect with these girls with,
like,
because I couldn't borrow a top.
I'm supposed to be the plus size person for the entire
for this entire show. First of all, the very first one. The second, we're here where the girls, and you've been on a show, like when you initially try to just kind of connect with girlies, it's like, oh yeah, you can borrow this, you can borrow that. Here, try on this top, try on these bottoms. Oh my God, you look so cute in this. They were doing all of that. Like, I can't try their extra small top. They were wearing their 00s and their extra small tops, talking about how fat they were in front of me. It was just like some things that were just, I was used to. But when you are dealing on a national level, knowing that there are cameras all around you, it was a little hard. It was extreme. And then the men that were on our show were very, very misogynistic and very fat phobic. And so later on, which I knew and I felt, and I felt the way that I was being addressed. I mean, the things that I saw after the show and the videos of just, them saying that I should walk my fat ass into traffic, there was just like so many things that I felt while in the house that I never really necessarily saw until I got outside. Some of the men on my season were quite horrid to be to be around in general, not just to me, but to people in general, to the women in general. So, but then after, when I got out, I got a good mixture of love and hate from very interesting sides. There were women who were also plus size that wish that I was never on, saying that it was interesting, again, women that were pretty much just dumping their insecurities of what they saw, like maybe were triggered at seeing, a plus size woman try. Mind you, like, yes, I wanted to win. There were competitions, and I tried my hardest to be and win some of these competitions, but the goal was never to be the biggest comp beast.
Right.
I wasn't here to try to show people, hey, that this fat girl can just win and be a complete comp beast. No, it was that I'm not going to tell people that I can't do that. You can't say that I can't be able to at least try in doing this. Everything that was a challenge for me, it was a challenge all 79 days that I was in that house. It, and the idea was is that I was doing it and that I was trying. And that was just on the body side, as me, like I am big about celebrating my fellow woman, uplifting women, uplifting, um, just having women in their own power.
Yeah,
And
that's
of
already.
course, I had a lot of men that called me the biggest man hater on planet Earth.
You don't
And I got a lot of
say.
hate there.
Oh, wow.
And, not knowing that, yes, well, I did marry a man and I do have brothers and a father and best friends that are boys, that are men. Like, it's nothing about, uh, you know, hating men. It's
Mhm.
all about uplifting, a gender that just doesn't get it enough. Like being able to support one cause does not mean that you are completely against the other.
Yeah, I can be pro without being anti.
Correct.
Yeah,
A pro me does not mean an anti
anti.
you.
Yeah,
Me being pro women does not mean anti men.
right.
It has nothing to do with the other. And I think that what I realized within the community of people that were watching is that it was very black and white for them. There is no middle. There is
Yeah,
no way to talk and not negotiate, but there was just no dialogue.
yeah.
It's like, no, either you like this person or you know you're anti whatever they stand for.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get along with some women, all of a sudden my femininity, my feminist traits were completely out the door because I wasn't supporting one of the women on the show. And all of a sudden, everything that I stand
What
for
happened
is
to her
just
being a
bullshit.
feminist? What happened to
Yes,
that?
absolutely.
Yeah, but I cannot
Absolutely.
like certain things about a person that are happen to be women and not be anti women. I just don't like these things, or I just don't like you.
Yeah, it's a long, it's a long and complicated
Yeah.
dialogue, right?
Hmm.
That
Hmm.
but again, people just choose to have that scenario
Yeah.
in their mind.
Hmm.
They say, oh, well, this is her stance on this, so all of a sudden she can't be all about what she says she's about.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. And for a quick second I lost myself because
Okay.
there were so many people that were just like, I can't believe that you did this. I can't believe that you did that. You were
Mm.
part of this. Um, you know, uh, you were part of this hate train. You were a part of this. You were a pick me. I was like, I have no
Yeah.
idea what the hell you guys are talking
Yeah.
about. And within that time frame, there was just so much that was happening to me that people didn't know.
Mm.
Um, there are people to this day who watched me don't even know I had a husband and a daughter. It blows my mind. My mother was going through cancer while I was in the house. And she was
Mm.
going through her last bouts of chemo. The
Wow.
week before I was sequestered, one of my best cousins had died from breast cancer that had metastasized like to her whole body, and I had gone to her funeral, and the next week I was sequestered into the Big Brother scene. The After Big Brother, I was diagnosed with ADHD. Like all of these things
Yeah.
that would make sense to me now,
Hmm.
like of why this is what you're seeing. This is what people are seeing. This is the Jessica back 4 years ago. And they're wondering, oh, how could she do this? Or why is she not doing enough? Why is she doing this? Why is she doing the other? And I think coming out, it was very hard to have to explain myself
Mm-hmm.
when I didn't even know what was going on,
Mm-hmm.
when I was still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Um,
And processing everything that you've experienced that wasn't your doing.
there was a lot of, and there was a lot of therapy, and there was a lot of, and I played with a husband and a daughter at home that I was also thinking about and missing, that I didn't see for 99 days, not knowing if my mother was okay. How did this go about, trying to process that, the feeling of being in a house where I didn't care for many of those
Mm-hmm.
people. Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you're quite literally in hell sometimes,
Yeah.
and and I don't think that the public was very understanding. In some cases, yes, I've gotten, and this is to not say, like, I did get some amazing feedback and I'm like, I still meet the most amazing
Yeah.
fans, and it shows me why I did what I did. People that will come see me and will cry and say that I have made such a difference in their lives, to just see someone like me in wanting uh, to be on the show, knowing that it could be possible, all of these
Absolutely.
things, and those that, but that unfortunately doesn't erase the fact that I've had some harder times, which now, 4 years later, ton of therapy, and now, like, really living my authentic life, I just kind of felt more free in
Good.
not caring
Yeah.
about what other people think, which I thought in my 40s I was kind of over that, but
I think that going into the house, I definitely like that was one of the things I was the most secure in was my lack of concern about other people's opinions about my life decisions. Cause I had said fuck you to people for a very long time, including family, about what they thought and felt about the decisions that I was making because
mhm.
I was proud of my life. I was making the best decisions for me and I wasn't asking anybody for anything. So you may not like it, but it's okay. And even if I fuck it all up and I do have to ask you for help, at least I tried to do something I was passionate in doing.
Yeah.
And I'd rather fail than to never try. So, the public can be hard and it is challenging to go from a private life, even as an open book, to a very public person, a persona, because the persona is just what people think and who they have characterized you to be or what I've shown you, the little bit of me that you know. And you come out and it's different. Like, yeah, in this world in Detroit, there may be 100 people who don't like me, right? I may not even know it, hear it, find out about it, see it at all.
Hmm.
Even if I go out, I might go out to a club, a bar, a restaurant, and see somebody who doesn't like me. A, they may never say anything, or B, they might just say something. That may happen one time. When you have a social platform that is public and accessible and people have access to you, now I go from thinking people don't like me, 100 people in Detroit don't like me, but nobody will ever say anything. And if they do, it's one time, one person, maybe one time every 30 days. Now it goes to 100 people every single day that are saying things to antagonize me, whether they are true or false. These are these are people attacking me, and I'm supposed to be this bigger person because I have gained more following or because you saw me on a TV show and you expect me to be better. And then when I say something, it becomes, oh, you have a bigger platform than this person. You have the ability to dismantle. Hey, I'm a human first. If it's not okay for me to defend myself against you, don't attack me. Don't expect me to come respectful to you when you started with me. I didn't find you. I did not. I promise you I didn't. And so that does become a heavy weight to carry. It becomes a heavy burden. And then people assume that they know who you are and they've
Mm-hmm.
characterized you, and everyone has this high standard of values that now they want to assault you with the values that they have and how you should be living to their standard. I don't have to. And I guarantee if you look at your own self in the mirror, open your closet up, there are some things that you're doing that I don't approve of, but I'm not going through your dirty laundry, talking about
Mm-hmm.
your filthy panties. So it is very uncomfortable coming out of such a publicly shown situation, Big Brother especially, and you can be the most confident person in yourself. And the things that we hear, the stories, the tales people spin, even, how about this? Even in the things that people may be correct about. Hey, Tiff, you said this and you were wrong about that. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
It can become too much.
Oh,
It can
absolutely.
make a person not want to share, not want to be vulnerable,
Mm-hmm.
not allow you to think that I'm this character you've created in your mind, because if you knew the real me, you wouldn't be able to handle it. So it's
I
okay.
agree. I agree 100%. And the funny thing is like in those situations as well, you there's no room for you to grow and learn from those mistakes. Even though we learn from past mistakes, from things that we wish we could take back, things that maybe were not our highest selves,
Mm-hmm.
things that, that have happened publicly and we've learned from. And yet as soon as a newbie comes and sees it again, you're back to that person. You're the same person that did all of those things,
Yeah.
prior. And again, it's a weird space to be in, because some people learn and grow and other people don't, and they
Yeah.
never learn and they don't grow, and sometimes it is very performative, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you really can't you don't know which one is what is real when it comes to someone who is sincerely apologizing or
Yeah.
sincerely trying to do better.
Yeah.
um but fans typically, they're not very forgiving. So I've learned that sometimes you just gotta let it go and let it be. Those people who are truly for you, who support you, who love you
Mm-hmm.
unconditionally, who understand,
Mm-hmm.
that's your that's your fan base, that's
Yeah.
your base, and that
Mm-hmm.
those are the people of why you keep on doing what you're doing. It's
Yep.
for the is for the support that they've given you. Anybody else is just, it's not worth the time.
So I want to
I've
ask you, like, how do you balance that? Like, here you are, um, you have businesses, you have goals, you're modeling, you have a husband, you have a family, you have a career, and then you have your social, and you're an influencer. How how did you get control? How did you know when things seem to be maybe spiraling or just like not as tight?
mhm.
Because it seems like what you're saying is, I had some things going on in my family, but I had a happy home. I left my husband and my child to go to do this show for a better opportunity. And I was very confident and comfortable in my life and where I was and who I am as a person. And I come out, and although I know that these are things that people can say and things that people may feel, I experienced a lot of discomfort, and you still like life still goes on, and I still have to pay my bills, do my job, be a wife, be a mom, be a daughter, go, like wash the car, do the laundry, clean myself, work out, wash my hair. Like, but
Yeah.
then there's this other thing over here that is kind of forcing me to like either strongly ignore or want to attack back or look within myself and go like, is there something, because we start to question ourselves, like, am I like,
Is it me? Am I
is
the
it,
problem?
yeah,
Is
am
it me?
I the
Am I the
villain?
drama?
Am
Am I
I
the
the
drama?
villain? Am I the
Am I the
drama?
villain?
Am I not the villain? But somewhere
Absolutely.
we do, and I can't even say to you like that even right now I'm fully processed and I'm fully back, because this, yes bitch yes, is the most vulnerable I've been with sharing my personal experiences and opening up. And it's my show was 20, the hell did I go on that show? I like
21?
21, so
21?
it's three years coming. This year would be 3 years. And I'm still very protective of me.
Absolutely.
Like,
Mine is going to be 5, yeah. And I'm just now starting to
yeah,
kind
like
of.
I don't trust. And it's not because of what I went through in the house, not all of it with the people in the game. It is thinking that the world is a little different. and
Mm-hmm.
and coming out and saying, okay, now that I've shown you who I am in this game, now I'm comfortable with you getting to know me and finding out that people can't handle even who you were in the game.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, well, I cast my rod out there and pull it back in. How do you balance that? How do you get back? How did you get back?
To be quite honest, I don't even know if I'm fully back, and I
Yeah.
don't. I'm not even gonna lie because I don't want to give people false hope.
Right.
But what I will say is that the what happened with me and being on a reality show like Big Brother, the biggest issues coming out of it was a sense of security and trust.
Mm-hmm.
When I got out, and also, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Tiff, is like usually when you get out of a house that where you've spent 99 days of your life engulfed with the same 15 people. I mean, at that point, it could be like a solid 6 or 7 people that you've just spent a majority of time with. There is this sense of
Yeah.
familiarity
Mm-hmm.
and community,
Mm-hmm.
but it's bonded in
Mm-hmm.
trauma. It's
Mm-hmm.
bonded in a lot of these experiences that nobody is able to understand, because even to this day, when you look at the amount of people that have done a show like Big Brother in general, because Survivor is its own separate slew of things, a little bit more of them, but also at a very short period of
Mm-hmm.
time. This is the
Yeah.
only show where you're going on
Yeah.
for 80 plus days
Mm-hmm.
of the same bullshit. Like it's psychological warfare.
Mm-hmm.
And you coming out, you bond with these people, and people not understanding why you're bonding with
Yeah.
them, because you're like, y'all had this fight, you guys shouldn't even be friends. They
Mm-hmm.
said this, did this happen? But there's this just trauma bond that's happening because nobody else understands what y'all have been through. And it becomes all about this life for a while
Yeah.
after the show, and this is where my issues started happening with my husband and with my, and with my family in general, because all of them were very happy to see me come back. But I didn't want to come back. For some reason, my mind was stuck somewhere else. It was stuck in the trauma. It was stuck in the DMs. It was stuck in like me obsessing over what these Twitter trolls were saying to me, trying to reclaim, reclaim my a reputation. That didn't happen. What the hell are you watching? Me rewatching things, thinking I was crazy because, what do they mean that they don't understand? What kind of house did they think I was living in? This was my reality. And my reality not matching up with what other people were seeing, which some of them was completely edited. The edited version was just not my reality. And what people were watching via these live streams, I wasn't really a part of that conversation either, which I later found out from a nice little source was due to my size, was that they purposely were not posting me or putting me on screen because I was in a bikini, and who wants to see big tits and, and a fat ass, like obviously. But in the plus size sense, not in the slim thick in way. It was in a very plus size, very cellulite, very big, big booby. I was soft, so it
I
made
mean,
sense. It made
like,
sense. I mean, don't get me wrong. I got a lot of people just sliding in my DMs as well. A lot
yeah,
of,
yeah,
a lot of sites with my
yeah.
backside
I'm a
on
little
them.
biased. I like soft.
People asking me for feet pics, all that good stuff. You know how it
Yeah.
goes. But I think afterward, it was me consumed in this life. Whereas my husband, to them, it was like, this is a show. Like, you
Like
should
it's
just
done.
come
It's
back.
over.
It's done. It's
Yeah.
over. So come back to reality.
Yeah.
Like, why do you keep on wanting to do this, experience things with them? Like, we haven't seen you in a long time. Where is that? And
Jess.
I couldn't separate. I
No,
just could not separate the two.
you know, hmm. That's a very powerful conversation, and I actually just had this conversation with my brother. We've always been really close. Now he's married with kids and blah blah blah. But he said to me, like when you, and I didn't know he felt this way. He said when you came back from Big Brother, like you just seemed different. Like you weren't like trying to talk to us, or like you weren't hanging, like you weren't trying to come around with the family and stuff. And I had to say to him, like, I'm truly sorry that I'm truly sorry to my family that takes that personally. And I think that the only people that can understand it are the people who experienced it, not even with me, but experienced it, period. Um, it's not that I didn't want to be with my family. There's so much downloading and processing that I'm still thinking about, that even when I pick up my phone to call my very best friend or my very closest family member, I know you don't know what I'm talking about. And I know that you can listen to me, but you can't relate. And your advice to me is not, your advice is coming from someone who doesn't live in that world. And it's like, I don't know why you care about those Twitter people. Those people are fake. Ignore that stuff. Just get offline, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. But the only people I could get what I needed from were the people who had actually been in that house before. You had to have been in that house before. And the people who actually were in the house with me were the people I needed to talk to the most. There were still things I needed to talk about. There were things I had questions about. Remember this, remember that, remember this. Well, what about this? And even if it wasn't something traumatic, it could have been something amazing. I want to talk to them about it. And I get what you're saying. My family, and some of them I'm just now finding out that they took those things personally. And I feel bad. I also feel like I wish people could take themselves out of other people's actions. I wish you wouldn't attach what Tiffany does for Tiffany to what Tiffany's not doing for you,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not connected.
Yeah.
And as much as people are like, oh, well, that's selfish of you, it's selfish of you. You don't know what I just went through. Even if you were going through something while I was gone, I don't know what you went through while I was gone. And if you need to have that conversation with somebody who was there for you while I was gone, then I understand that. But family has such an expectation of where we're supposed to be and how present we're supposed to be and how much we should interact, think about, rely upon outside factors when
Absolutely.
there was nobody. Like, if something happened on Twitter right now, it's been almost 3 years. I'm still not picking up the phone to call none of my friends and family. And it's not personally against them. They don't get it. They don't like I have to call somebody who experiences it so that they can help walk me off the ledge. My best friends, my cousins, whoever, they're like, I can't believe you even, and then you don't even know what I'm talking about. Girl, such and such said, blah, blah, blah. Yo, I know you don't know them, but they was on there, and then it got 29 quote tweets. They like, what's a quote tweet? Oh, shit, just, quote tweet. What's that? What's a quote tweet? They put it in quotes.
You,
Yeah, they put it in quotes, and they,
yeah, in moments like that, you never want to have to explain the
do
explanation.
you know
Like,
how
you never just want
crazy
to
you sound? You know,
explain.
and it doesn't help me. It makes me sound even crazier. It makes me know, one, that it doesn't matter. It is false. It's a whole nother, it's a virtual world. It shouldn't be important. I feel like I'm going to pick up the phone and call some of my family, I know that explaining it sounds so stupid that I'm a mother with a child that I'm raising that's about to go off to college, and I'm talking about Twitter.
Yeah. I feel you. I'm right there with you. Because if I was to tell my husband, the whole time he will just look at me,
Yeah.
and he's
What are
like,
you talking
"Does
about?
this really matter? Like, why are we like to
And the
him?
fact that the
It's
reality of the matter is it
childish."
doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah,
It
it is.
doesn't.
It's
It doesn't matter to my bills, my credit, my mortgage company, my car note, the gas, the food on the table, my son's school, his grades. It doesn't. But there is a small part, and that small part, it fills up the whole 100% of it.
absolutely.
You know.
Absolutely. It does at some point become your whole world. And I think that it's crucial coming right out of it,
Mhm.
because that is your whole world for
Yeah.
a very, very long time. And you know what they say, it takes something like what, 25 days
To build a habit.
to build a habit,
Yeah.
right? And if anybody was to watch these shows, and I'm just gonna say Big Brother, because it is the best example of it, because
Well,
right.
Big Brother, because Big Brother is the only social experiment. All the other shows are a reality show. And if anyone does their history on Big Brother, season 1 of Big Brother had a doctor, a psychiatrist on the show explaining everything that the house guests are experiencing in their mindset at this time, and how the prolonged effects of what they're dealing with, what they're going through, the lack of this, the lack of that. And like, there's so much psychology that goes
Absolutely.
on with this social experiments. We are essentially lab rats. Here's the thing. I don't regret it. It was something I asked for. No one
Same.
came to me and said, "We want you to do this." So I don't feel bamboozled. I begged, I prayed, I cried, I wanted it. I ran there. I would have walked to LA if they would have been like, "This your only way to get in this house." That doesn't take away from the experience though. And I have a different experience than you as far as my time in the house, my experience with my cast, my relationships with them, the things that I experienced. Coming out though, coming out into the real world, the world we walk out to is essentially the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's not CBS and production and the diary room that have effects on me right now. It's it's being it's being in the public and being so vulnerable. And I mean, is that a choice? I mean, is that something we know is going to happen? You know, there was a situation when I came out of the house that I knew that Big D and I didn't have a good relationship in the house, and I wasn't expecting us to have a good relationship outside of the house. And I remember calling home, and no one said anything about anybody except, "You better not talk to Big D. He will no to him, no to him, no to him." It was everybody in my that supported and loved me was anti Big D, and I was like, "That's cool, right?" Then we went out a couple of times in LA and I didn't see him. And at first I was like, good, he ain't here. Shit, I can whatever. But after a couple of times that he wasn't there, I was like, well, where is he? And then I heard he's fighting people on Twitter. He's not happy right now. He feels like nobody wants him around. And I was like, about this game? And so I actually went on Twitter and I did see him like fighting people on Twitter because I was really like, here go me. How you fight somebody on Twitter? Because I ain't know. I was like, how you fighting somebody on Twitter? What you mean? What that mean? He fighting somebody on Twitter. So I had to learn all of this. And so I'm like, oh, he is going back and forth with people. Okay, he's going back and forth. He's okay. And then I saw him and I'm like, you know, he finally came out to something, but he was very not himself. And I was like, what's up? And he's like, you know, people don't want me around. Nobody wants me here. Nobody likes me. And I was like, okay, I could do one of two things here. I can just let him fall and sink deeper into this hole, ostracize him like he feels like he's being ostracized. I don't care. Or I can see if he is willing to learn, if he's willing to one, accept his wrong for how he treated me, and if he wants a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Because the last thing I wanted, which was the first thing I thought about, is this man slips off into a depression that we don't know his backstory, where the depths of his mind can go. What if something happens? I was like, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to aid in it. I don't give a fuck what he said. It doesn't make me want worse for him.
Mm-hmm.
So just knowing that the pressure of this outside world and how heavy things can be, and our perception of reality can be skewed. People have to be very careful about the way they come at people, because the fact of the matter is, you only say those things because you're behind a screen and you're not in someone's face.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to be a bully when you don't think somebody will show up at your door. But if I told you I had a software on my computer that could pull up your GPS wherever the fuck you tweet me from, and I can find you, and I'm willing to spend the money to invest to come knock on your door for you to say it to my face with everybody I know that will help me, would you still say that shit?
Yeah. I mean, it's all relative when you look at it. First of all, it's just like, it's nobody's business but your own, right? And the idea of that all of these people feel so much privilege into our personal lives because we volunteered to be on this show. I think in a way it's like, yeah, you have the right to view the person who decided to be on that show.
Play the game.
5 years later, it is not the same person.
It's not.
And no longer, you are no longer privy
Stop
to my
bringing
life.
that
And to be
shit
quite
up.
honest, yeah. And to be quite honest, I'm at a point in my life, where I'm still in the healing process, and I don't know when that would like really fully feel like myself. I feel that the Jessica that I was before I went on Big Brother is a very, very different Jessica than the Jessica that I am now. In sense, I feel like it opened my eyes to a lot of evil in the world that I did not. It was just so blissfully ignorant to think that people were no longer sexist, racist. So, I mean, I knew that this existed. I just didn't know the stupidity of some people and that it still existed in such a young group of people. Because at that point in time, mind you, I was the oldest woman, second oldest person on the cast. And to see such a young, hateful, spiteful, cast of my season. And again, I'm generalizing because not everybody was like this. I'm saying it as a whole because there was a good majority of people that were just horrible, horrible human beings. But not everybody. But it opened up my eyes to that, which then opened up my eyes to all of the trolls and all of the things that were going on before me. And before, I was very much of a person who was like, I don't know if you've ever read the Four Agreements. Have you ever read the Four Agreements?
I read the Four Agreements. That sounds familiar.
It's called The Four Agreements by Miguel Ruiz. And it's an amazing book. If people haven't read it, I suggest that they do, because it is such a life changer, and it is seriously one of the books that has really opened my eyes to so many things. I actually read it before I was even on on Big Brother. But it talks about the Four Agreements of how to live it's like a very powerful framework for how to live your life in a very personal and spiritual way. And there's 4 agreements. And one of them is to be impeccable with your word. The other one is to not take anything personally. One is to not make assumptions, and the other one is to do your best. And so those are the 4 that I feel like I am always trying to do, because what happens when you take things personally, very similar to the story that you said, right? The whole personal, people were taking it personal. It was not about them. These were decisions that you were making. These are decisions that I'm making. I had a very similar situation with my family members because of the way that I was acting right out of coming out of this house and living my life. And people were mad that I wasn't calling them, that I wasn't, letting them know how I was doing. I had forgotten to do A, B, and C. Very, taking it very personal, as if I felt a certain way about them. And it was like, no, I was going through my own shit. Like I needed time to heal me. And if it's not, and this is not just for someone who is coming off of a reality show. This is like literally 2024 shit where people are now going through. And if people believe in astrological, sun, star, moon, solar eclipses, moon, lunar eclipses, whatever you believe in, if you don't. But there is a big power energy shift. And a lot of it has become of the self. 2024 has been, I'm getting my shit together. I'm doing me.
Sure.
I'm forgetting about other people. And what does that it brings people getting all up in their feels because someone's taking care of their own shit, and they're getting upset, and they're taking it personally, and they are ruining their own relationships,
Yeah.
making assumptions about things that they know nothing about,
Yeah.
creating drama
Yeah.
because you like, when there's no and this was me before, but then I went on Big Brother,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to assume, you have to make assumptions, you have to, it's almost like it was the craziest thing, right? But I was such a free flowing bird, I feel like, and it kind of got clipped a little bit, learning to get back to my old self, a more 2.0 type
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
Jessica,
Mm-hmm.
where I am now saying like, I'm grown. I've gone through this. I know this.
Mm-hmm.
I can empathize with people. I know you should give people some grace. Everybody makes their mistakes. At the end of the day, there's some people who are truly trying to make a change,
Yeah.
trying to be better, and others that are just saying shit to say shit, and it's all a facade. And you need to learn. You have to put on your big girl pants, and you need to know the difference. And it's not all cookie cutter, and not everybody's going to know the process. Not everybody's not going to understand you, but who knows and who understands is going to understand, and those are your people. And that's like my process. That's what I'm learning, is like, I was very much not of a people pleaser, but I love to see people happy. I'm a very self-serving person. Like you said before, like, I'm very kind. I can be, I mean, it was one of my biggest down traits in that show, because it was very, very hard for me, even when I knew that there was something off about people. It was just so hard
Yeah.
for me to make the cut, or to, I was always kind of double guessing,
Yeah.
or playing devil's advocate. Maybe they're doing this because something went wrong in their childhood,
Yeah.
and you should give them another chance. And no, sometimes a bad apple is a bad apple.
Yeah.
Sometimes, they deserve what they need, to figure it out. Love
Mm-hmm.
you from very, very far away. No, you do not deserve my explanation. No, you do not deserve my apology, or
Yeah.
an apology, or I do not need to hear your apology.
Yeah.
And that's the Jessica that is today. That is just like, I just grown to be a little bit more of a I don't give a fuck person,
Yeah.
and still trying to maintain, all the bits of me that are still very loving and caring and nurturing.
Absolutely. You have to. We have to find a way in this crazy world, no matter what we go through, to still authentically be ourselves.
Absolutely.
And I've never known how to be anybody but myself. It's the reason I stayed in so much trouble growing up. People always have wanted me on a certain, like, whether it's the people that raised me, whether it's relationships I've been in. I remember I dated this guy, and he was like, "You're always doing something." You better ask my mama. I don't know what you thought this was gonna be. You're right. I am always doing something. You want me to sit down like a little kid and be quiet? That's not me. I have always been comfortable with developing and growing the ideas that are in my mind. And I don't ever want to stop that. I have an
No,
imagination that is out of this world. And if I don't play with it, somebody gonna be playing with me, and I ain't to be played with.
that part. And I love that. And I love the fact that you are still in that space, and very about that, in your whole grown age, as we would say, our whole grown age,
Mm.
because we're showing people that it doesn't have to end at whatever certain time, or whatever.
Life,
You
life doesn't
don't
end
tell
until you
me.
die.
Absolutely. You don't tell me what I can do, what I can wear, who I can date, what I can say.
When I gotta
Like,
stop
just
doing stuff, I
when,
will stop when I'm
yes,
dead. That's when I'll stop. How long you go until
absolutely.
I die?
When are
That's
you
my
going to have
decision.
something stable? When
That's
I
my
get
decision.
tired. Yeah, it's like, and it's not hurting nobody. I'm not hurting you. Like,
Okay.
what's it to you? Like, why are
What's
you
it
all
to
up in my
you is
business?
what's it to you is somebody seeing you do something they can't do. Somebody feeling like you're in their way. If you weren't there, then I could be. Make your own path. Mobile phlebotomy wasn't even a thing until I did it here. And if it was, I never heard of you. But in Michigan, they know me. If I'm not in your way, you just haven't found yours. I found mine. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So when people are like, how long you gonna be? You still, I am. Worry about yourself.
That's very much of I mean, and I feel like that is in any aspect, that is something that I've also dealt with. It's just like the idea that I can have mine and you can have yours. And it has nothing to do with it. Like, how is it that I am friends with so many beautiful, accomplished, hustling ass women? I don't say I want what you got. Tiffany, I never said let me go up to Michigan and start my own phlebotomy. Like, I ain't trying to make no mobile nothing. I ain't trying to step on your toes. I want to be there to support you, to be able to uplift you, say like, girl, get it. Like, do it. If you have the energy and you had the gusto to do it, then get it. And I'm right there for you. In the modeling industry, it's always like, don't tell them if you got a booking. Don't tell them that you're going for the booking. Don't tell them that you're doing A, B, and C, because girls aren't for you. They're not gonna, they're not gonna support you. They're gonna find out who you're talking to, and they're gonna try and get your job. They're gonna try and apply for that position. They're gonna try and do that. And to me, it's like, nobody can be me.
Yeah. Nope.
Nobody can be me. I'm sorry.
I'm not worried about nobody taking
Like,
what's for me. What's
nobody's
for me
gonna
is for
take
me.
what's mine. What's mine is mine.
Mhm.
If they took the job, it's because they didn't want a size 18 Latina with lighter skin, darker hair, big ass tits. Like, they didn't want it.
Yeah, it's not my
So
time.
now I have to go in another direction. But
that's
never
about
will
me.
it be that I'm not enough.
I never mind helping the next person.
No.
I never mind helping the next person. And if you get something that I wanted, then it was for you. I've got something better coming for me.
Absolutely. It's just one of those things where it's like, you have to at some point say, like, you can't do all of it.
Yeah.
You can't have all the podcasts. You can't have all the modeling gigs. You can't have all the reality shows. You can't have, like,
you can have what's for you, but there's enough for everybody. It's like saying to someone, you can't breathe so much because you're going to take all the air. There's enough air for all of us.
That part.
Don't stop.
That
Don't count my breaths. Okay.
Don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about how many breaths I'm taking.
Don't count
you
mine.
Just worry about yours.
I could honestly talk to you all day. You are such an amazing woman. I love that we can have this girl talk. So many things that you have experienced and gone through, and I didn't even know that these were some shared struggles, and it makes sense. But sometimes, just like, on the outside, we look at people and we go like, they don't deal with that stuff, but you just never know. That's why I try my best to be kind to people, because as you said, you never know what someone else is going through. And I smile at strangers. I'm kind to people, because I hope that whatever it is they're going through, I'm not helping make it worse.
I agree. And thank you. Yeah. It is, we just, sometimes people make it look easy. And then that's the whole idea. Not everybody's as vulnerable. Not everybody is as vocal with their struggles as the next person. Sometimes I don't like to feel like I'm complaining. I'm very much of a girl who just gets through her own shit by herself. Like, I like to figure it out myself. Sometimes it's even hard to ask for
Help.
that help.
Yeah. Ooh, that's
So it
another
really takes a
conversation.
lot. It really takes a lot for me
Yeah.
to accept to accept that gift. And I've been learning that you need to accept those gifts so that you can learn to receive and have room for more growth in your life, and ask for that help. And especially when you have a good solid system, when you have a good solid tribe with you, um everything and anything is possible. Like, surround yourself with all of the good positive vibes and all of the people who want to see you do well, and you can really just tackle the world. It won't be easy, but it sure as hell will make a great story. So
Jess, thank you for joining me. I want to thank you for taking time away from your family and all the things that you could be doing, but you're sitting here and you have engaged me in a very therapeutic conversation.
thank you.
Tell everyone where they can find you, where they can follow your journey for the future.
Well, I'm kind of MIA for the moment.
Ooh, okay. So you can find her
So
here.
don't
This
follow
is
me.
an
Don't talk to
exclusive.
me. No,
This
no,
is an
I was kind
exclusive.
of, I was kind of like on a little bit of a hiatus
Okay.
for a bit,
No
but I am
worries.
kind of getting back into the game. Definitely for Big Brother season. Not yet, but I will be recapping again with Girl Let's Agree to Disagree on
Okay.
YouTube
Okay.
during the Big Brother season. So everybody, if you're on YouTube and you like to go to visit all the recaps, all just follow all of them. I'm one of them. Girl, Let's Agree to Disagree. And you can follow me on Instagram at J Milagros Plus, and the same on my Twitter. I'm kind of like MIA for the moment, but I post here and there.
Thank you,
I'm
Jess.
working on it.
It's okay.
No,
In your
thank you.
time. Don't feel rushed. In your
Yeah,
time. Remember
absolutely.
to like, subscribe, and comment. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Bye.